Yeah. Well, so you're a journalist as well?
Used to be. Yeah, back in New York, but now
They giving us something for free?
I have a kid, more design, branding work. I still shoot.
So we're here with Spank Rock, and we've got our winner here from the Thrillcall contest, Mike. Are we here?
Yeah. We didn't have email.
Well, I didn't know it would be him. I picked like door number 1, 2, or 3.
What?
Chose wisely.
Yeah. Got the donkey. The check the wagon.
So you guys just began your tour. Last night was the first night, was that right?
Yeah.
With the Check Yo Ponytail, yeah?
That's the first night.
You were saying a little bit about the sound, how everything's going so far.
Everything's going great. Dude, it's been super fun. My theater was amazing. Waves played last night, so that was like really awesome.
Yeah.
That was a good treat.
Is there like somebody you could just pick out of a tree?
You know, you always like name names. It's like a lot of, I think a lot of, there's some really cool young kids doing some cool shit out of London, so I like to work with like James Blake and like Jamie XX and like Untold and some of those producers out there, because I think they're really figuring out a way to make electronic music sound organic. It's like they make like cyborg music. And I think that's like one of the most really new and truly creative like things that are happening in music right now. But you know, then you have people like Prince and like bunch of people I can name, George Clinton.
I was checking your blog and I saw Prince Alpha down your blog.
Pretty much Prince kind of runs my life. It's fucked up.
It could be a lot worse. It could be like Courtney Love.
It could be good. I'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like I already have a lot of fun.
But so you've had now like 5 years off. Like I imagine in that time you've seen a lot more shows, and seen a lot of things change in the music industry. How's that affected, the identity you're trying to be now? Because like, you came out and the style of music we're doing, it was like nobody, there were people doing it, but you were like part of the beginning of that, like hip hop, electronic, mixing, and now that's, it's kind of like synonymous with pop music today when you weren't even pop back then. It's an underground scene.
Right.
I saw you were talking about wanting to be like Animal Collective and be more artistic and reevaluate what success meant to you. What has 5 years done to you now, in that sense?
I don't know. It's like the music industry is like really weird. So if you're part of the major record labels, the space you have to actually be creative and do something you want to do is very small, and you create an image for yourself and you just push it, sell market. So I don't enjoy doing that because you kind of have to make the same thing over and over again. I have faith in myself as a songwriter and my friends as like producers and musicians to be able to continue to put out records and have fans follow. Not really knowing what to expect, but just knowing that you're gonna put out something that has some quality to it.
I think that's probably personally healthy too. You know what I mean? Like just for yourself, you're just in this little box. Like as a person, you get older, you're gonna go through relationships.
Well, it's just from someone who was in a pretty explosive music scene in Philly when electronics was going on. We had Diplo, we had Amanda Blank, we had Plastic Little, we had MIA came to their first show there live. So a lot of things that are trends now we've seen before. Like this is my last album came out 5 years ago. And we were electronics was like started 3 years before 3 or 4 years before that even started happening. So a lot of things that a lot of musicians that we see come up and become this next new thing, we're like, how is this still exciting? And also, why didn't you throw us under the fucking bus? Right. 10 years ago, like girls rapping on the record that never rapped before, and just having fun with the music. I don't think anything I'm doing right now is like very different from staying in the tradition of, how me and Triple Machine started, I think the only change that's maybe happened is, becoming like a little bit more clear about, certain messages that I wanted to put across.
What were some of those messages?
It's like one song that I was paying a lot of attention to when I was writing this album was Starting Something by Michael Jackson. Starting Something. And it's like, and it's really his vocals are very James Brown inspired, even though the beat is like a little bit more like like slick and disco and dancey than like, you know, hard like funk like James. But his lyrics in that are like very socially conscious, but I don't think many people pick up on it, you know. He's like singing like, if you can't feed your baby, then don't have a baby, you know. And this is something that like James Brown would say, you know, in a lot of his chants in funk and dance music, you know, were very important to people at you know, in people's everyday lives and society, and trying to be a part of like a civil rights movement, keep people, you know, kind of moving forward. So I took Michael's song because I felt like that the fact that it was more modern than James was a bit more inspiring for me because it was pop, it was funk, but it was slick, and it was also, you know, it wasn't so far from, I guess, the electronic music that I made. But I just wanted to make sure that I was able to get certain points out and still have fun at the same time. So,
Alright, this is how I grew up. I don't know.
Yeah, I do that with the stuffing.
Yeah. That was my life in a nutshell.
But yeah, that's pretty legit.
Are we good?
that was awesome questions. I'm glad to talk. You know, you should actually get into music journalism.
Yeah,
These are like the best questions I've had.
Yeah.
Well, these are.